Report story. Deku's paw. Izuku. Ochako's voice called out. I take a deep breath and look her way. I was struck by a wave of heat in my cheeks. Ochako was running towards me, wearing an amazing outfit. Her hair was once again in the ponytail, leaving the longer fronts of her hair down. She was wearing a black shirt with a green jacket with the sleeves rolled up, with a deep navy skirt and black flats. She also had a brown purse with a long strap that went around her shoulders. She looked beautiful. You look amazing, I said quietly as she came up to me. A blush had came to her face. She had heard my mutter. Thank you, Izuku. You look really good yourself. Ochako said, putting her two forefingers together. So, what's first? I stood there for a minute admiring her beauty before realizing I was staring. And that she had asked me a question. Well, the original plan for this date was to go to the mall, right? Might as well start there first. I chuckle nervously. Is that all right with you? Of course. Well, let's go. Ochako smiled brightly. She grabbed my hand and pulled me towards the train station. We're holding hands. I feel my face burn, but I immediately shake the nerves away. It's not like we haven't been closer. But what if someone sees? Wouldn't that be like ember raising? I start matching Ochako's pace, trying to control the burn on my cheeks when I realize Ochako is blushing even harder than I am. I smile. Good to know I'm not the only one embarrassed by this. Still, Ochako would rather be embarrassed than not hold hands. She always surprises me. We make our way to the train station and get on the soonest train to the mall. Ochako and I were able to find a decently less packed car with only about 10 people inside. Ochako walks towards the seats and sits down, beckoning for me to come sit next to her. I nod, and sit next to her, still leaving space between us that seemed to bother her. She pouted for a second and closed the gap between us, wrapping her arms around mine. Ochako, there are people around, you know. I say, flustered, though I can't say I wasn't happy. I know, but I want everyone to know that you're mine. She said quietly, blushing and looking away from me. That made me go completely red. She considers me hers. Suddenly my nerves had subsided, at least for the time being. I can't let nerves get in the way of this date. I have to give her the best time of her life. Ochako and I eventually found our way to the mall. Wow, it feels like forever since we've been here, huh? I said, looking around the huge shopping district. Still need that bug spray? I asked, laughing. Ochako, who was still gripping onto my arm, gripped tighter. I told you I was sorry about that. This was supposed to be my makeup day. For that, she pouted, giving me the puppy eyes with those brown orbs of hers. I laugh again. Quote dot. So what did you wanna do first? Ochako pulled an Asui and put a finger to her chin. Oh, I wanna go there, she said, looking at the arcade. Alright, let's go, I said as we both ran in. Ochako ended up beating me in pretty much every game, though I couldn't help but be All Might in any of the hero-based games we played. I used the excuse that All Might's quirk was similar to mine, but I really just wanted to be All Might. However, I did notice when I said my quirk was similar to All Might's, Ochako gave me a strange look. Maybe I said too much. I still can't have Ochako finding out about One for All, but how could saying something like that, especially about a game, give it away? I think I'm worrying too much. The arcade was dark anyway. They keep the building dark as to make the games look brighter. I'm sure I'm overthinking things as usual. She went right back to being her usual self. Promoted stories. You'll also like. I can't lose you 27.7k 648 warning. Spoiler warning. Mentions of the events leading up to, including and following the internship arc warning. Katsuki has always been bad at expressing his feelings, but when the Black Lady of the Night 1.5k11a. Vigilante hero was out one night and saw a person fighting a whole group of villains all by themselves, but the problem is that they're badly injured and no one knows. I hate and love you. 258k 4.6 con. IzuOcha fanfiction where Deku and Uraraka had a fight in kindergarten which led to something worse. But maybe they can be friends or perhaps more. Non-Quirko rated. The Life of 0. 16.8k 481 Izuku. Midoriya wanted to be a hero his whole life and was bullied for it since he was quirkless. Izuku Midoriya was told that he would never get a quirk by his doctor. There's something up with Izuku Midoriya 18.6k 339 Izuku. Midoriya had watched his mentor fight for his life and end up using the last of his power. Now being the sole wielder of One for All, Izuku knows he needs to work. BNHA. The Paths He Chooses Book 1. A Fate of Few. 158k 2.7 kits. A normal day for Izuku as he completes his normal routine and goes to school. Along the way he runs into Yui Kodai, a quiet and mysterious girl of Class 1B, they Shining Light IzuOcha 42.4k 926 Quickless. Normal. No heroes or quirks. So Izuku Midoriya and Ochako Uraraka have been best friends since kindergarten. But when problems in high school try to drift them, Ochako and I ended up going around the entirety of the mall, which had a surprisingly large amount of things to do. Ochako had also wanted to try out karaoke. We went through all the manga and video game stores. We checked out the new products of technology that was coming out that we both knew we couldn't afford, but it's fun to mess with the displays. One of the best moments were going through the hero store. If I hadn't been on a date and saving money for dinner, I would have bought some All Might merch then and there. I did end up buying her a little Gunhead plushie, a nod to her training and to her training me in Gunhead martial arts. Soon the sun started to set and the sky was giving of its orange light. It's starting to get late. Should we head home? Ochako asked, hugging her plushie closer to her chest. I looked up at the sky. Nope. Ochako was a bit surprised by my response. Say something clever. Come on, Izuku Midoriya, say something witty. You need to keep her out longer if your plan is going to work. Yes, I did, in fact, have a plan going. I don't want this day to end yet. I'm having too good of a time. You're hungry, right? Would you want to go get food with me? I asked. That wasn't really witty, but that should have been romantic enough to keep her out, right? I wasn't blushing at this point. I have been out with her for hours, but still saying these kinds of things was still a bit challenging. Sure. I would love that, Ochako said, blushing a bit but smiling, seemingly happy the night wasn't over yet. We ended up eating out at a ramen shop. Ochako and I had a challenge to see who could finish the most of the gigantic bowls of ramen. Surprisingly, it was the first thing I had won against her tonight. I won't lie, I was pretty proud of myself. Ha, that's my win. You should do better next time. I laugh. Ochako gives me a look. Oh yes, congratulations Izuku. You won one thing out of at least 20 today. I furrow my eyebrows. It wasn't 20 wins for you, was it? I mean, I beat you at every game in the arcade. My singing points were better in karaoke. I beat you in. You know what? Point taken. Forget I asked. I say, scratching the back of my head. I didn't realize I had lost that many times. Ochako laughs. It's okay, Izuku. You did beat me in eating ramen. It's something. She smiles innocently. I frown at her. I'll get you next date. I pouted. However, Ochako went red. I noticed and backtracked. I mean, if you want a next date, that is. I shouldn't just assume you'd want to. No, not that. Of course I would want a next date. Ochako said, grabbing my arm. I'm just happy you're already thinking of the next one, that's all. She looked down at our hands and then looked up at my eyes. You really kept your promise, didn't you? I tilt my head and furrow my brow. To save Eri, how is that promise still on your mind far after the fact? Not that one, silly. You really are trying to see if we can work out. I'm really happy. I wouldn't say I'm trying at this point. If anything, I want it more than anything. I didn't mean to let that last part slip out, but Ochako remained calm. If anything, she scooted towards me and leaned her head on my shoulder. Hey, Ochako, there's one more place I want to go. You sure? It's getting really late. I'm sure Aizawa will kill us for being out this late, even if it's a Saturday. She said, looking outside. It was dark, the sunlight had all but disappeared. I'll take the blame if we do get in trouble. In fact, I actually want it to be night. I want to show you something. Come on. I leave the payment on the table with a bit of a tip to the waiter. I grab Ochako's free hand, the other one still holding the gunhead plushie, and led her outside. Okay, close your eyes. Izuku, what are you? Please. Ochako looks into my eyes and then closes her own. Great. Keep them closed no matter what. I sweep Ochako into my arms. Full cowling. 10%. I jump and carry Ochako throughout the city. Jumping building to building. I try and shield Ochako's face from the wind as best I can, checking down every now and then to be sure her eyes are staying closed. Eventually, we reach our destination. Okay, Ochako, open your eyes. Ochako opens and looks around. Izuku, where are we? She looks around at the green fields and trees. We are currently outside the city in one of the parks. These parks have some of the biggest trees in Japan. There's something I want to show you out here, and it requires us climbing one of these trees. I hope I thought this plan through all the way. Ochako stares at me. We have to climb this tree. This is a huge tree. I don't know if I can climb it. She says that, but her smile tells me she is looking forward to it. I'm sure your quirk will help. Come on, let's go. I charge one for all a bit and start climbing to the top. Ochako giggles a bit, apparently enjoying the unexpected turn of events, puts her stuff against the base of the tree and uses her zero gravity to help follow me up the tree. I stop on a branch just before we make it to the leaves above the top of the tree. Ochako pulls herself up on the branch next to me, making her release sign with her hands, both of us crouched low just below the leaves. Okay, you ready? I ask. Ready for what? What are we doing? Ochako asks, excited and giddy at the small adventure. On the count of three, we raise our heads above the leaves. Okay. Okay. She shouts. 1, 2, 3. We both push our heads through the leaves. Ochako shakes her hair, now full of leaves, and looks around. She then looks up. Her eyes grow big and tears start forming in her eyes. Izuku, how did you know? She said, bringing her hands to her mouth. I chuckle. I remember you telling me once before how much you love the stars. So, what better way to end the date off than giving you the most perfect view of the stars and Milky Way than I nature itself? Kenny boy here. So just realized, for some reason the app did not save the rest of the chapter, so about 500 words are missing from the ending. So be on the lookout for a chapter soon. Kenlair, where stories live. Discover now.